If I told you that every beautiful woman you've ever desired wasn't some gentle muse, but a primal storm wrapped in the thin silk of a smile, how would you react? Not a storm of the skies, but a storm inside your own mind. The kind that can either raise you to the throne of an empire or shred you into dust and throw you into the abyss. How many times in history have men abandoned their thrones, burned entire cities, even traded their lives not for logic, but for the glance of a woman? Nietzsche once warned, "Beauty is not an answer. It's the most brutal question a man will ever face. And that test is merciless. But the most merciless part isn't in her, it's in you. In the way you're willing to abandon your goals, throw away your honor just to trade it for a fleeting moment of approval from her eyes." In the next few minutes, I'll strip away the layers of a psychological game, one that society, biology, and you yourself have silently signed into. But be careful, because once you see this truth, you can never go back. You think you love a woman for her beauty. But the truth is far more brutal. You love the way she makes you forget yourself. It's instinct, a trace carved deep into the male brain by hundreds of thousands of years of evolution. A symmetrical face, perfect curves, eyes that seem to hide a secret. These aren't just aesthetics. They're biological signals, a banner of fertility. And no matter how modern you think you are, your brain is still a prisoner to those signals. Studies in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology have shown that men consistently rate physically attractive women as more trustworthy, even when given proof to the contrary. This is the halo effect beauty bends. Logic deceives reason and infiltrates the very regions of your brain that control decision-making. And you don't even realize you've been programmed. Nietzsche understood this long before science could measure it. He called it the Dionysian frenzy, a chaotic state where instinct takes the throne, reason is bound, and the man becomes a willing servant. Helen of Troy was no symbol of virtue. She was the torch that lit a 10-year war. Charles Baudelaire called his muse angel and demon in one body. She gave him his greatest poetry and drove him to the edge of madness. The problem isn't them. Beauty is simply their existence as they are. The problem is you when you hand over to that beauty the right to define your worth. The moment her gaze becomes the ruler by which you measure if you're enough, you've given the driver's seat of your life to someone who never promised to steer it safely. Picture this. You're a king with power, wealth, an entire nation in your grasp. And then a woman walks in. She doesn't need to threaten, doesn't need a weapon. She only needs to make you want her attention more than anything you already own. The moment that happens, your throne begins to shake. King Ludwig I of Bavaria lost not just his wealth and reputation, but his sanity, all for an actress whose loyalty vanished the moment the money ran dry. But here's the most dangerous part. Often women don't even intend it. She simply exists, and her existence alone is enough to burn through every mental defense you thought you had. A study in the Quarterly Journal of Experimental Psychology in 2015 revealed that men automatically assign higher social status to beautiful women, even when they hold no real power. Putting her on a pedestal is your brain's doing, not hers. And once she's up there, you begin to do what every devotee does: sacrifice. Sacrifice your time. Sacrifice your opportunities. Sacrifice yourself. You trade long-term goals for a fleeting moment of closeness, a text message, a smile. And with every concession, you tie another rope around your own neck. Nietzsche never told men to hate women. On the contrary, he offered the only way to truly enjoy beauty without being destroyed by it: become the man who doesn't need it to exist. Beauty is a test, not a reward. The man who passes it is not the one who rejects women, but the one who never begs them to feel worthy. But this is only the surface of the game. If the pull of beauty alone can shake empires, what happens when she knows she has that power and starts using it unconsciously? That's when we enter a darker realm where there is no clear invitation, no visible plot, and yet a man's heart and mind are pulled in like a moth to the flame. The most dangerous thing isn't a woman who knows she has power and chooses to use it. The most dangerous thing is when she doesn't even try and still makes you lose your direction. This is the unconscious game where her mere presence is enough to burn through your focus, distort your decisions, and turn you into the architect of your own downfall. Nietzsche once described women as a thin, shifting, reflective film over shallow waters. He wasn't diminishing them, he was pointing out that they operate through presence. They don't need a manipulation plan. They just need to be, and your brain will do the rest. A study at the University of Texas proved this. Men were asked to perform cognitive tasks in a room where an attractive woman sat silently in the corner saying nothing. The result, their cortisol, the stress hormone, spiked. Their decision-making faltered. She didn't flirt. She didn't engage. She just existed. And here's where the game turns cruel, because there's no script. You can't defend yourself against a specific move because there is no move. It all happens inside you. You turn an accidental glance into a secret message. You turn a polite smile into an invitation. A 2016 study published in Psychological Science revealed that men often misinterpret a woman's smile as sexual interest, even when it's purely platonic. The ancient wiring in your brain can't tell the difference between a modern social signal and a primal survival one. History is full of intelligent, powerful men who thought they were immune and then collapsed. Philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, who could dismantle the illusions of human nature with precision, fell into obsession with a young opera singer named Caroline Richter. She didn't need to say much, didn't make promises. But in his mind, every small gesture meant something, and he spiraled. This is the most dangerous form of power, passive power. It's not conspiracy, it's gravity. The Earth doesn't try to pull the moon closer yet. The moon still orbits it because of the laws of physics. And if you are the moon, the closer you drift, the harder it is to break free. Nietzsche saw this tragedy not to make men fear women, but to make them stop fearing themselves. He stressed that the most dangerous predator is the one who doesn't even know it's a predator, which means if you want freedom, you can't rely on her not being seductive. You must learn to be in the same room, feel the pull, and still remain anchored. But anchoring doesn't mean emotional numbness. It's the state of the Western warrior apatheia, not indifference, but the refusal to let emotions dictate action. Modern men have forgotten this. They chase cheap dopamine from a social media like from a text reply, from a fleeting glance, without realizing they're trading away their own dignity. Understand this. No one forces you to send 10 messages in a row. No one orders you to delay your goals to wait for her to see your text. She's simply living her life. Everything that happens to you is from you. And that's the first step to freedom, realizing the prison isn't her. It's you. But if this is only the unconscious level, what happens when a woman both loves you and without meaning to pulls you into destruction simply because of the natural instincts you both share? That is the true abyss where love and ruin flow through the same river. There is a form of destruction men rarely recognize until it's too late. It doesn't come from betrayal. It doesn't come from power games. It comes from real love. Not the kind of love and leave, but the kind that's so devoted she's willing to build her entire life around you. Sounds like a dream. In truth, it can be a gilded cage. Nietzsche once said, "It is not the strength of your feelings, but their duration that makes men weak." When a woman places you at the center of her world, she also unconsciously places a crushing weight on your shoulders to be everything to her. Every joy, every safety, every hope, all of it becomes your responsibility. And like the burden of Atlas, sooner or later, those shoulders break. Look at Friedrich Hölderlin, Germany's great poet. He loved Suzette Gontard, a woman who worshipped him like a god. She fed him endless inspiration, but also turned him into a prisoner of her expectations. Every poem, every line he wrote had to live up to the image she had of him. Over time, that pressure shattered his mind. Hölderlin spent the rest of his life in isolation, locked in a tower writing fragmented verses to a woman he could no longer bear to face. This isn't just history. A 2018 study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology named it the Atlas Effect. Men with highly emotionally dependent partners experienced chronic stress, not from arguments, but from the silent weight of having to carry the world for the one they love. Even more unsettling, this love requires no schemes or manipulation. It's real, and it's precisely that reality that kills you from the inside. Arthur Koestler, the writer and philosopher who stood against both fascism and communism, ended his life in a double suicide with his wife. Cynthia, who had followed him through exile and hardship, chose to die with him as a testament to absolute love. But it wasn't liberation, it was a reminder that when two lives merge so completely, life and death come as a single package. Even Nietzsche, who spent his life warning men about the psychological power of women, wasn't spared. His sister Elizabeth idolized him to the point of taking control of his philosophical legacy after his mental collapse. But her love didn't preserve the truth. She reshaped his works to serve her political agenda, turning him into a symbol for beliefs he never held. So why can love the thing society worships become a tool of ruin? Nietzsche believed the cause was fear of loss. When a woman loves you so much that she ties her entire meaning of life to you, she also hands you a dangerous weapon, the power to decide her happiness. And at the same time, you become terrified of losing that position. This fear erodes ambition, makes you take fewer risks, live smaller, all in the name of keeping the safety of the relationship. This kind of love isn't a storm that passes quickly. It's more like ivy wrapping around you, warm and comforting, but slowly tightening, draining your strength until the tree inside withers. And the cruelest part, both of you think you're doing the right thing. Nietzsche's solution wasn't to reject love, but to learn to love without needing to be needed. This is the Greek idea of eudaimonia, flourishing from within, where you share your life as a choice, not as a matter of survival. But understanding this is only half the battle, because once you've seen that love itself can be a trap, the next question is, how do you step out of every trap, whether born of beauty, unconscious presence, or fierce devotion, and become the man that no one, not even yourself, can destroy? If the first three parts were the map of the traps, then this is the route out of them. There's no more room for self-deception. If beauty can make you lose your aim, if unconscious presence can shatter your discipline, and if absolute love can lock you in a silk cage, then there is only one thing that can free you: absolute self-mastery. Nietzsche called it Selbstüberwindung, self-overcoming. It's not a static state, it's a continuous process. Every day you kill the weaker version of yourself and rebuild a stronger one. And this process can't be outsourced. No woman, no society, no friend group can do it for you. The first step is to cut off external validation. The modern male brain is addicted to cheap dopamine, a social media like a quick text reply, a glance from someone he desires. The addiction isn't just in the action, it's in letting those moments define your worth. To break free, you must endure the emptiness that comes when no one is clapping for you. It's the hardest withdrawal, but it's when you learn that value doesn't come from applause. The second step is to set a goal bigger than yourself. When your whole life revolves around romance or attention, you're easy to control. But when your mission exceeds your own personal needs, a creative pursuit, a physical challenge, a cause you believe in, everything else becomes secondary. No one can destroy you when what they try to take isn't the core of your existence. The third step: discipline, both body and mind. A man loses his edge when he loses discipline. You can't expect to stand firm against the pull of others if you can't stand firm against your own temptations. Train your body. Meditate, read deeply. Limit the consumption of meaningless content, not to show off, but to build a fortress inside. The fourth step: learn the art of stillness. In a chaotic world, stillness is a weapon. You must be able to sit in a room full of people and not get pulled into every glance, every conversation. This isn't coldness, it's the power to choose where and who gets to influence your mind. The man who can sit in silence without feeling the need to fill it is the most formidable man in the room. And finally, live with an aura that cannot be bought or sold. This doesn't come from expensive clothes or luxury trips. It comes from the quiet confidence of knowing you can lose everything. Love, attention, social status, and still remain whole inside. That's what makes people respect you before you even speak. Nietzsche once wrote, "The true man wants two things: danger and play. Therefore, he wants woman as the most dangerous plaything. But to turn danger into play, you must face it without letting it destroy you." That's the difference between an adrenaline junkie and a warrior who knows exactly when to strike. As you walk this path, something strange will happen. The traps that once held you will lose their grip. You'll be able to look at a beautiful woman without losing your focus. You'll recognize unconscious presence without spinning fantasies. You'll be able to love deeply without losing yourself. At that point, every relationship with women, with society, with yourself becomes a choice, not a chain. But before you think this is the destination, remember this journey has no finish line. Each day is a new test, a new temptation, a new chance to fall. The difference now is that you no longer walk into the trap blind. And that's the foundation for the final act, where I'll distill everything you've heard into a single message you'll carry for the rest of your life. Now you've seen the game. You've learned that beauty can pull you off course, that unconscious presence can burn through your logic, and that absolute love can tighten around you like a beautiful but suffocating silk rope. You've seen great men fall, not because of enemies outside, but because of the emptiness inside themselves. The only question left is, what will you do with this truth? You can close your laptop, set down your phone, and return to your old life, pretending you haven't just seen the map that leads straight to the traps. Or you can choose the road few men dare to walk, rebuilding yourself from the inside out, until no one, not even the person you love most, can break you. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. That why cannot be borrowed, cannot be bought, and it sure as hell cannot be given to you by a glance or a smile. It has to come from you, from the fierce decision to be a man who doesn't need validation to know he's worthy." If what I've said has hit you like a punch to the chest, don't let it fade like just another video you once watched. Share this with a man who's drowning in the same cycle you've just stepped out of. Not so they can follow me, but so they can wake up. In the comments, write 3 words: amor fati, love of fate. Not as resignation, but as love for the challenges, the traps, the storms, because they forge you into steel. We are not men who seek ease. We are men who are willing to stare into the abyss and smile. If you're ready, step into the ranks, not as a spectator, but as part of the brotherhood of men who cannot be broken.